Hey everybody. Um, we're only on YouTube right now, so this is something I'm trying. This is new. Come on in. This is a new idea of mine that I've been flirting with for a long time. So I'm going to attempt something and make my best shot at it. I've set it up as good as I can, but I've been kicking this around in my mind for a long time. And I think I'm going to attempt to do it and see how it works out. And hopefully it does. You know, I have been in the truth movement, I guess you'd say, or trying to spread truth as best I can for years now, mostly on Facebook and YouTube. In a time where everything around us is a lie. We live in the age of deceit, literally. And I am, well, we're going to get into that too. I don't really know how I identify religiously anymore. Um, it looks like there's buffering going on YouTube. I don't know why. I'm only on one platform. I cleaned everything. It's not me this time. I am being throttled. I am banned on two different platforms currently. I am banned on Periscope and I am banned on Twitter. I cannot stream on either one of those. I'm going to continue on because usually when there's buffering, the audio stays good. So I'm just going to keep talking and let me know in the comments if it's unwatchable. If it's unwatchable, we'll wrap it up. But I want to talk about how do you find the truth and live in the armor of God when everything around you is a lie, when we live in the literal age of deceit. So that's going to be the theme and what we're going to be talking about in this feed. I am going to share, I can't share much because I'm in Facebook sharing jail and I'm banned from Twitter and Periscope. So I'm shared as much as I can. You guys share it out too and get it out because I want this to be an open discussion. Now, I mean, my religion is going to come into play more than it ever has in any of my previous feeds, but I'm not judgmental, you know, and we're going to get into that more when we get into how I was talking about it's hard for me to put a label. I don't know where I fit categorically anymore religiously. I would, I guess, have to classify myself as Christian. That's what I was baptized, and that's where I go to church, is a Christian church. It's a very open-minded Christian church, though. They're not judgmental or preachy, and I really like it there, and that's why I like it. People show up to church in t-shirts and they have tattoos, and there's no judgment. Nobody's sitting there viewing them and looking down on them because they look different. Everybody understands that that is okay and actually a positive thing, something that should be encouraged, being different. And that's what I mean by I'm not judgmental. I wouldn't judge anybody on their beliefs and what they believe in. You know, that's earned. It's not going to change because I'm judging you. It won't affect anything. So, and how would I expect you to even listen to anything I'm saying to you if I'm judging when I'm saying it, if I'm passing judgment on you, you know? But what I want to talk about and what the theme of this is going to be is that I do the conspiracy theory show. A lot of you know that. Like I said, I've been in the truth movement actively for probably like 3 or 4 years now, doing feeds and trying my best to spread the truth. And something that just is glaring along the way is that evil rules our world. Evil is in control of our world and everything around us. And it's deeply entrenched. It has full control. I am religious. And I don't follow the Bible very closely. I'm not a biblical scholar. I couldn't quote it, but I do believe it tells of how the devil will rule the earth for a period of time. I feel like that's happening. I feel like the elite, these predators that lord over us, that rule our world, I feel like they are religious. I feel like that because they show evidence of that. Look into Bohemian Grove. The elite presidents go to this place and they do a ceremony called the cremation of care to the demon Moloch to get rid of their guilt for everything they've done to us lessers over the previous year. That's real, and that happens every year. And very powerful people gather there. That's not the only link to the occult and the elite. There's tons of links to it. Matter of fact, I might turn a lot of people off here, but there is there's evidence that evil forces have infiltrated and taken over, I believe, Catholic Church a long time ago. And that is why it is what it is. Because it's not about God. It's about money. Look at the wealth. The sheer amount of wealth concentrated in the Vatican. And just how Christian is that? To sit on a golden throne with a golden scepter and talk about how people need to live within their means. And it's just ridiculous. I think religion has failed. That's what I was going to talk about how I really wouldn't know how I would even classify myself anymore. I I got to say some kind of version of Christian. There's a lot that goes on with Christians that I don't agree with. And I have a lot of atheists as friends that I respect. And I don't judge and I don't feel like I'm better than or that I even know for sure everything. And I wouldn't look down upon on you for having different beliefs, and hopefully you feel the same way. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't want to watch me anymore, because in this one, I'm going to get more into what I believe. But I'm friends with atheists, and I know that the Christian religion, at least the track record, is hard to defend. And a lot of people that claim to be Christian don't display Christian traits. That causes a lot of problem too. And they're very judgmental, a lot of these people. And again, it's the vocal group. The squeaky wheel gets all the attention. It's the ones making the most noise. It's not the majority. It's like anything else. When you really look at it, you find that most people are good. These are the extremes. These are out on the fringes. They just get all the attention and the focus. But it's hard to defend. And then the history of religion is hard to defend. Any religion, probably, but I don't spend a lot of time defending other religions. And I've given up defending Christianity because historically it can't be defended. And I think that's because it evil has been in control of things for a very long time. So good has been being distorted for a very long time. The truth has been being distorted for a very long time. Never to the level that it is now. It's being suppressed. It's being killed off. It's being eliminated now, but always, always public perception and opinion and all of that beliefs were manipulated and used for advantage. Uh, a movie that I like a lot, The Book of Eli, ashamed of himself. But he doesn't feel shame. He feels pride in it, even. And anytime somebody is always smiling, they are selling you some bullshit. Joel Osteen has dishonest intentions. He is not a true man of God. He's not the only one. He's just one I picked out of the ether to use as an example. There are many examples. And I think these people have infiltrated. I don't think they're actual representatives of what Christianity is supposed to be. So, the mainstream recognized version of Christianity, I wouldn't fall into. But I try to live as Christ. Like, hi, Chris. I try to live as I believe Jesus did. And I don't think Jesus went around judging people. I don't think that, I think he was about love and community and helping people. I try to be like that. It's not up to me what happens with you or what you believe. I got things I can learn from you and we can help each other, even if we have different views. I fully believe that. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people, they'll get hung up on someone's beliefs, and then they can't get past that. They can't look past it. You believe in God, you believe in Sky Daddy that lives in the clouds. How ridiculous are you? Are you a child? Do you believe in Santa also? They start treating you ridiculous, like you're stupid. Not all again, just some, but the vocal, the louder ones. So, and that stuff's ridiculous. No one's talking about a Sky Daddy that lives in the clouds. That is for little children. You mainstream science even acknowledges that there could be other dimensions, other realities, other layers, things that we don't even experience. This is all out there and widely accepted and understood that we don't fully understand our reality even. But there being a creator in another realm, that's ridiculous. Why is that ridiculous? Each believes that there's a 1 in a billion chance that we don't live in a computer simulation, that we aren't a living, breathing version of The Sims. He's one of the smartest people recognized walking around today, considered to be extremely intelligent and very respected. Why isn't that ridiculous? It's mathematically likely even that we live in a computer simulation. But people laugh at you if you believe in God, mock you. Not all, but probably the same percentage of the Christians that run around judging people and talking about you're going to go to hell for this or that. That's not up to you. You have no right or authority to speak on that. And I think any interpretations or judgments, and even the ones that are written in the Bible, are irrelevant. I think in the end, it's up to your Maker and the Creator what happens. That's it. Nobody else. And the Bible. This is why I've never become a biblical scholar. This is why I've never even finished reading it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I'm religious. I'm Christian. I believe in God. I try to live a good life, and be a good person and do all those things. I don't think the Bible's important to that. And the reason why I feel that way is because it's been manipulated too. I honestly believe that it has. The evil forces have put these inconsistencies and these things that, if I was a biblical scholar or if an atheist was here, could tell you. There's so many. And the whole section of Leviticus almost feels added. Like it just doesn't feel natural or like it belongs. But again, I'm not a biblical scholar. I just don't believe God's about hate. I believe it's about love. And also, and I don't believe there's a he or a she or a gender, but, you know, for sake of discussion, I probably will say he again. But the theme is going to be really, and I want to get back to that, evil controls this world. I, I think everybody needs to at least be on board with that much. Even if you're not religious, there are evil people that do happen to be religious, by the way, and very religious at that, and are trying to make biblical prophecy come to life. This is true. And all you have to do is look at history to see that it's true. And we can get deeper into it in a conspiracy theories and chill, but this is, a little different. And I feel like a lot of this stuff is established and that we all should know it. At some point, we have to enter into an advanced class. We got to move things forward. That'll be the other thing this is about. These whatever this becomes, if it becomes anything, but growth, progress, what to do moving forward. And it won't necessarily be religion based. The only thing that'll be religious in this show is me expressing my views more than I usually do. That's it. And the rest of it will be about truth, which is what everything I do is always centered around anyway. And doing something about the evil in this world, which no matter how you feel, even if you're not religious, I think you need to acknowledge exists and is in control of us at the bare minimum. And for anybody that feels like, well, let's say you are religious. For just a second, I'm going to speak to the religious people. Just for a second. Let's say you are religious and you're like, well, God is in control. God will do what needs to be done. God will lead us in the right direction. I don't think so. I don't think that's what it's about. I don't think that's ever been what it's about. I think we're being tested and that it's up to us. And that we have allowed evil to take the hold that it's taken. And that nothing will ever undo that short of us realizing that we are in control of what happens here. You got to take a little ownership. I think if you could probably use a lot of references in the Bible. I don't know them though that would prove my point here, but I think God is about us doing our part. And as I said, there's some level of a test going on in some way. I feel like that if it's a test, I'd have to say we're failing. And I'd have to say that religion definitely failed the test. So I understand the atheists and how they feel, the ones that I've talked to and had deep conversations with about it. I come away understanding it. I can't fault them. I'm a student of history, so I understand. I understand that there's all kinds of problems and all kinds of corruption and all kinds of evil associated with the church. And, you know, I get a lot of their other points too, and I'm not going to focus on any of those right now, but there's a lot of other reasons that atheists have for being atheists. It's just historically, they have a lot of good points. And then as far as biblically, but I feel like that's been manipulated. I feel like that's part of everything being a lie. Everything is a lie, literally. I believe that. And I don't have any proof other than everything else is. We're living in the age of deceit. I fully believe there's evidence everywhere of that, all around us. And to deny it is just kind of crazy, even if you're not religious, because you got to acknowledge that it's all lies. Reality is being hidden from the average person. Deception is used on a massive scale. Propaganda is legal. The CIA infiltrated the media decades ago. The narrative isn't controlled completely in this country. The media is owned by 6 corporations. No matter how you feel, philosophically or religiously, you have to know everything is a lie. So it's the age of deceit for everyone, whether you're religious or not. And again, those that lord over us are. So, I mean, that's the least interesting, isn't it? They worship demons, they gather to do so regularly. They have secret societies that are Luciferian, almost all of them. Almost all of them. Look into Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones has produced multiple presidents, senators, congresspeople, judges, all kinds of powerful and rich people, all kinds of predator elites. Very demonic organization, very Luciferian. Aleister Crowley is very respected among the elite circles, the predators that lord over us, the super rich. These families and bloodlines that have lorded over us for hundreds of years have always been in power behind the curtain. They've never not been in power. They've got it all wrapped up and always have for a long time. Evil is in control of this world. Evil rules our world, and everything's a lie. And time is running out. And how do you move forward in this situation? What do you do when everything's a lie? When everybody's asleep? When people are literally sheep and then they need to be led. They do. They crave it. They want to. They don't want to think for themselves. The average person, they're lulled happily to sleep. And they are occupied with their own worries and concerns and ideas of what's important. And they don't look at big picture. They don't want to. They want other people to take care of that for them. It's not that they don't care about the big picture. They don't have time. They don't want to get involved, etc., etc., etc. So they want their leaders to do that. They want them to worry about it so they can ignore it and focus on their own, what they feel is important. Most people can't be bothered. Things are bad, and they've gotten that way because we've allowed it. So waiting for someone to save us and waiting for someone to come along is not the way to go. I don't believe that's the message. I don't believe that would be something that would be agreed with by what I believe in when I worship God, when I pray, what I envision, what I feel is not a force of evil. It's not a force of darkness. So it's not about hate. I don't believe that. And I, again, during the course of this discussion, I may end up mathematically or logically falling out of the category of Christian, but that's all I know. It's what I learned, what I believed, what I took in, what I was influenced by, and then I had my religious experience, whatever you want to call it. It was a religious experience, and it was real, and I can't deny it. It happened. So I got a tattoo to remind me always that this was real and this happened. So I'll never forget it, even when I had doubts, because I have doubts. Of course I do. You know, why wouldn't I? Think of all the things I already said, all the problems that exist with religion, organized religion, and all of that, and the Bible, and etc. I remember when I first came to God and accepted Jesus as my Savior. I remember that still. And I had questions for the pastor. I had showed up at that church because I was at the end of my rope. I was literally at the end of my rope. I was done. I had given up. I was never religious. I grew up in a Baptist household and was raised Christian, but we never went to church. I mean, hardly ever. It was holidays and special occasions and grandstanding at best. So even though my uncle was a preacher, literally a fire and brimstone preacher, I didn't learn a whole lot about religion growing up, and it didn't sink in with me. I had problems, I had questions. And when I spoke to the pastor, because I showed up defeated and broken down, and they could tell, he took me aside and talked to me. And I told him that I wasn't a believer, that, I just showed up here because I need help. And he asked me why. And I told him the problems that I had, that the evil in the world and that it goes on and other things. There was other big questions that I had. I still have these questions. But what happened to me happened, and I felt this huge presence come over me. You know what I mean? And then things happened in real life. I'll go ahead and tell the story. It won't even make sense if I don't tell the story. So I was going through a divorce, and it was a bitter divorce, and it was really awful for me. And I was broken. I lost everything I cared about. I felt like my life was over. So I ended up at a church, because I have depression issues and things hit me really hard sometimes. So, and I ended up caving and looking past my questions and allowing myself to go into the sermon. He talked me into at least doing that. He was like, "Well, I can't answer your questions. I can't speak for God. I can't do that. So I can't tell you why. Your questions are very valid. They're good questions. But will you sit and listen?" And I did. And by the time he got around to asking people to accept Jesus Christ, I was crying, literally crying. I remember it to this day. And then when I left there, I had to go pay for gas with change. I didn't have anything but change. And it was in a baggie, and I knew exactly how much was there. But I went in, and I already was ashamed. I work in customer service. I have experience in sales. I know what it's like when somebody comes in with a bag of change. I get it. So I walk in there with this bag of change to pay for my $10 worth of gas, and the teller is just beyond ignorant with me. I'm so done, even though I question everything. And on my end, I will keep experimenting with trying to make it better for you guys because we do these professionally now. This is my part-time job now. I hope eventually it becomes my full-time job, but I want everything to push us forward. Everything that I'm doing, all these little shows, even the ones that are for fun, are all about progress and about moving us forward as a society and about making the change that we need to make in society in order to move us forward. So I don't care how you get a new computer, but I don't have it yet. We're about $100 away from the new computer. And once I get it paid for, it will be a beast and it will be able to run these feeds a little better. Some of it is my computer, but I am being throttled and I'm being held back and suppressed. So it's a little bit of both. But if it's unwatchable, let me know and we'll wrap up early. I was planning on doing an hour. We usually at least do an hour every time we do these feeds, but if it's bad, we will wrap up. Usually the audio's good though. Lori says have gone out and back in several times. Missed your paying for gas with change story. Oh, right on. Well, Chris says I think YouTube doesn't like Christianity. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't, especially true Christianity, which is what I feel whatever I am is. I feel that's what you're supposed to be, is about love and about progress and about helping people and not judging, being open and accepting and trying to do what's right and being a good person, someone of value. I think that's what you're supposed to do. I think that is living godly and living like Christ. And that's being a Christian to me. But Chris says it's okay. Refresh helps the buffering. And Chris says love. Oh, yeah, love. It's all about love. My favorite comic. A lot of my favorite artists were atheists. George Carlin was an atheist. He told a lot of truth. He was a good person. So he had different beliefs than me. See, again, that's okay. That's the other thing I want us to take from this one, this series, or whatever this ends up being, is that it's okay for us to have different beliefs. Matter of fact, it's good. And that way we can grow and we can help each other. We all have different strengths and different abilities, and we're, again, against the same enemies. So it's all good. And we're all one. We're all part of society, no matter how you feel religiously. And I don't think that we're supposed to judge. But yeah, Chris, a lot of people don't like Christianity. Christianity is definitely not popular. And even the people that claim to be Christians don't really like Christianity, because if they really did, they wouldn't allow a lot of these things that they do allow. And these things happen because we tolerate them. Again, it's I don't think it's okay to wait for somebody to come save us. And even God, it's not his responsibility. It's ours. This is our world, and what happens in it, I think we're responsible for, no matter how you feel religiously. And evil people have taken control of it. And I could justify it. I could justify what I'm saying. I'm not making it up. People that worship demons, they are demonic. It's demonstrable fact. They are religious. They believe, and they're in power over us. They're in control. They're pulling the strings. So whether you do or not doesn't really matter, does it? Those that rule over you do. Lori says Jesus and church are two very different things. Absolutely. Absolutely. I said religion has failed. Jesus didn't fail. God didn't fail. Religion failed. Man failed. We got to own this stuff. We like to blame people. We like to scapegoat and point fingers, but it's all ours on a grand scale. Even the bystanders of these awful things throughout history were responsible for them. We need to own this as a group, as a whole society. We can't, these little groups we're in are divisions and distractions anyway. It's a method of control, divide and conquer. That's the way they've held power for hundreds of years. That's the way the evil has taken the hold that it has, by breaking us up in little groups and making us easily manageable. So we need to rise above that. No matter how you feel, philosophically or religiously, we need to rise above the control methods that are used against us, because we can't advance as a society until we do. And everything around us is a lie. And we live in the age of deceit. So I wonder sometimes, because you can't trust the church in every way. I like my church, but I wouldn't go into them and ask them, how do we move this forward? I don't know why, but I wouldn't. I think we have to do that personally. I don't even think it happens. I don't think you need to go to church. You know, I hardly ever physically go, only because the one I like is 30 minutes away. That's not a good excuse. Well, actually, it's 45 minutes away, but that's not a good excuse. I should still go. I just don't feel like it's necessary. I go when I want to go, when I feel like I need to go. And then the rest of the time, I do worship in my own way. And I feel like that's the way you're supposed to do it, you know, and that's fine. Lori says, wait, Chris says, I believe the demonic part. I try to build in myself more spirituality and connect to my God to stay away from the demonic forces. Evil forces run this world. No matter how you feel, and we all have the same enemies, they are evil. They are Luciferian for the most part, their belief system. And that's just going off the belief systems of the secret societies and the elements that are in power. Like I just recently did a video for Conspiracy Theories and Chill, my conspiracy theory show, about Lucis Trust. Look on my channel at that video. That is a Luciferian organization, openly Luciferian, that runs out of the United Nations building. They're headquartered in the United Nations. Not only are they headquartered in the United Nations, they have a huge presence in the United Nations, including a massive mural that hangs on the wall and is Luciferian because they are, and that's what they believe, and that's what this whole mural is about Lucifer taking over the earth. It hangs in the Security Council room of the United Nations, where world leaders gather and decide world events, the fates of millions of people under this Luciferian mural. You also have a meditation room at the UN. They have a huge presence at the United Nations. That's a little odd, isn't it? They have an agenda of 9 things, and every single one of them has come into being. It's a short video. Check it out. I think it's only like 15 minutes long, but um, this stuff's real, and they believe in this stuff. The elite and the powerful and these predators go to parties. Their favorite is that Maria Abramovich right now, but it used to be Aleister Crowley. It's been going on forever. They're Luciferian. They love it, and do as thou wilt. That is their outlook on life, their theory of everything. Do as thou wilt. That is the Luciferian tenets put forth by Aleister Crowley. That was his thing. They love the demonic stuff. They love the dark forces, and they believe in it. They believe there's power in it. I was told there's no such thing as magic. Well, those in power of us believe in magic. They believe in the power of these forces, of elements, of things that are we can't see and can't really explain. They believe in this stuff and they use it against us. So whether you do or not is kind of irrelevant because it's going on. But Lori says, I don't want or need a church to lead me. I don't think it's necessary. I don't. I'm no expert, but I believe that God would make me understand that I'm wrong if I was. If I was spreading false beliefs, I believe I would feel it. I believe Joel Osteen feels it when he fleeces his audience and uses his platform for greed and to enrich himself. I believe he feels it. I believe he knows he's wrong. Just like I believe I would feel it if it was wrong. And that's usually how I gauge things, off feeling, gut feeling, and how it sits with me. It's usually my barometer on everything, and I feel my connection with God. It's the other reason why it can't be shaken or rattled. When I understood that he or she or whatever had intervened, and I felt this presence for days, like this huge presence. And I still do feel it from time to time. It'll happen, and I can ask questions, and I feel the answer. You know what I'm saying? There is a connection. If you live in it, there is. And maybe you're spiritual in other ways, and that stuff's real too. There's so much life around us that we don't even fully understand. One of the smartest people that ever lived, Nikolai Tesla, understood that we don't understand this reality fully, that there's a lot that we don't even fully experience in our reality. And it is very arrogant to walk around acting like anyone is foolish for believing that there's more going on. And again, those that lord over us believe there is. They fully believe there is, and they believe in the power of it, and they practice it, and they have for hundreds of years, and they use it against us. So that's all real, and that's all something we're up against. There's a movie it came out in the 80s, They Live. And in the movie, the main character gets these special glasses and he's allowed to see reality for what it really is. And he sees that everything's a lie. Well, it's true. This is the age of deceit. We are living in the age of deceit, and evil runs this world. Everything is a lie, and no one's going to save us. So I believe that we have to take ownership, no matter how you feel, and, you know, expose evil in all its forms, however it's being done, and stop tolerating it. We have to realize that things that happen in our reality only are allowed to happen because we tolerate them. When something ceases to be tolerated, it's eliminated. If you're ignoring it, you're looking away. Otherwise, it would be destroyed because we can destroy it. We have the ability and we have the power to destroy it. We don't have to allow evil the hold it has on our world. Lori says, I knew a Satanist, evil guy, very, very selfish person. Yes, and again, I realize there is a satanic church that is all about putting up statues and religious rites and having after school programs and all of that. That's not who we're talking about. We are talking about Luciferian Satanists that are demon worshippers, that believe in the doest thou wilt lifestyle, that you do and take whatever you want. And it's okay. Everything's okay. They don't have moral restrictions. And they are very evil and very selfish. And these are the people we're talking about, not the coloring book Satanists. So please don't link me the tenets of Satanism and all of that and tell me, well, Satanists aren't evil. I understand that there is a Satanism religion that has been constructed mostly to fight religious infringement, by the way, and is mostly political. But they have a list of commandments or whatever, a belief structure, and they're very wholesome. That's misdirection, propaganda. If you're believing in that, that's fine. That's cool. You have good intentions because that particular organization does have a good tenant system and belief system. And I've been told that many times. It's not who we're talking about. This is something different. These people are evil. They are moving an evil agenda forward. And they believe we're playthings that they lord over. They can do whatever they want with us. And nothing will stop them short of us uniting and getting past all this division and this petty divide and conquer and standing up to them. Chris said, I think part of God is in us to help us discern if we work on our relationship with Him. That makes sense. I could accept that. We will all be part of our Creator. That makes sense to me logically. I know it's a feeling to me, it's something that I feel. And I don't believe I need to fully understand it because I believe that's part of faith, isn't it? I don't need the Bible study and all of that. I don't need that. I already understand it. I have a relationship with it, a personal relationship. To me, that's more important. And again, I'm no scholar and I'm not saying I'm right. That's just my personal philosophy. I could be way off the mark. I could end up finding out that I had it all wrong. But I don't know how well I did. I tried to structure the idea and really put it together because I wanted it to go well, my first attempt at this. But I'm not preachy, and I'm never gonna be, and I'm not gonna talk down to anybody or be preachy, but I wanted to use my beliefs and for good and to move things forward best I could and to spread truth, but with my beliefs involved. Usually I put them on the sideline, and this I'm going to focus more on those. If it's popular, if it's something that you guys like and want to see. Because again, I'm not doing this to be preachy or to be a religious leader of any sort, or to preach my beliefs to you, because I'll never do that. But I just believe in living that way, and it'll bleed into the conversation more on these particular shows, whatever I end up naming this or whatever this ends up being, if it ends up being anything. But Lori says he was my stepson. So glad him and his dad are out of my life. Oh, yeah. The there's certain beliefs and certain things that you just can't change about people. Certain people are set in a certain ways, and like me and my ex-wife are oil and water. We just can't get along, never will. It's just not possible. It's not. I'm sure she's great with other people. We just together, it's a nightmare. So, you know, I've learned to look at it that way over time. I didn't look at it that way at first. It took me a while to get to that point. But we've been going for about 53 minutes. I went through my notes, what I wanted to get across, but we can get into anything you guys want. Let me know what you'd like to see this become. If you want to see it continue, if you'd like to see this come back in a regular way, bridging truth and religion and how to find, because it's a real question that I have, how to find the armor of God when everything is a lie, when we live in the age of deceit, when everything is being manipulated and evil has a stranglehold on the world. How do you find truth, and how do you live in the armor of God when you're being lied to about literally everything? And what will happen if we don't stand up and if we don't do what needs to happen in order to stop the progression and the path and the way we're headed to a reality where truth doesn't even exist? And they want to have one religion, one world religion. That's what they want. And it is a Luciferian religion that they want the world to embrace. That's what they're pushing everything for. That's what everything is moving towards. Is this Luciferian utopian, this one world government. And I talk about it every week on Conspiracy Theories and Chill in one way or the other. But I wanted to really get into it and the beliefs behind it, because those in charge and those controlling it from behind the curtain are religious, and it is religiously motivated. They are bringing biblical prophecy to life and making it happen. They are arranging and putting the cards and the dominoes in place because they're looking forward to this war too. They're looking forward to the return of Christ. They believe they're going to be victorious. They are religious. They always have been. Rome never fell. Power was just redistributed. These people in power have been in power for hundreds of years. They never lost power. They just went underground, changed their directions, went into secret societies. They reimagined it. They've always had their power. Chris says this is nice. I would like it to continue. Right on. I'll figure something out. I'll figure a name for it. But I am Christian. I'm religious. And I am a truther. And they often tell me they don't have to support their side because it is me that is presenting an actual thing. Chris, I will figure out a name for it and we'll keep doing it. We'll do it moving forward. And I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. I'm sorry about all those little problems. We'll work that out too, and we'll play with settings and get that all figured out. But let me know what you guys think and what you think of the discussion and what you think are some things we could do moving forward, no matter how you feel religiously or what your beliefs are. How do you feel we fight this? What do you feel like we do moving forward to fight the evil that's in power over us? How do we do that? I'd love to hear from you. I love your comments, and commenting helps the show. It helps us do better, and the algorithm helps us get out to more people. The more comments and interactions something has, the more popular the computer thinks it is, and it gets it out and shows it in more people's feeds. So hit like and comment, participate, even if you're watching later on. I'm sorry, I got something stuck in my throat. But let me know if there's anything you guys want to comment about or anything you want to ask. Some of these people, like Chris and Lori, have been with me a while and have been at my feeds for a long time, and I've never really been open about my religious views or spoke about them much. So if you have any questions for me or anything you'd like to ask me, I'm open to that too. Or if anybody's here from Facebook, because I've definitely never spent much time talking about religion on Facebook. I have in comments, in comment threads, I've had a lot of debates with atheists in comment threads, but never on my main profile. I've never just, for no particular reason, I'm not ashamed. I guess I don't want people to judge me or shut off and block me out because I want to be exposed to different views and I don't want to live in an echo chamber. So I'm interested in other beliefs and even people that don't believe in anything other than what they see and can feel and identify as true and real. So no matter how you feel, I'd love to hear from you and I'd love to hear what you think about what we should do moving forward and how we defend the truth and how we fight for good and how we live in the armor of God. And if you know what that means to me as a Christian, it can mean anything for you. You know, whatever, change it to good if the word God bothers you. Like, to be good, to help move society in a positive direction, to build a future and make society more about love and justice and what's right instead of greed and survival of the fittest and leaving everyone behind, just living more good, doing the right thing, because that's what's going to make change happen. That's what's going to move us forward. And we've got to rise above the divisions and realize that we have a common enemy and they are evil and they are in control. And we can fight them if we would just realize that we got to come together and that we have to fight them. Nobody's coming to save us. There's no hero coming. And time is running out. You know, these predators, they're preparing for something big. Recently, I covered on Conspiracy Theories and Chill how many underground bases and bunkers and literal cities that exist underground in this country. They're preparing for something big and they plan to live underground during it. There's something big coming. I really feel like that's true, and I feel like there's evidence for it, and they're preparing for it. We're going to have to do something. We're going to have to wake people. There's awakening happening. I'm excited about that. It is exciting to be a part of that and alive during that. People are waking up. But at the same time, truth is being destroyed in real time and eliminated. So It's hard to say right now how I feel about the outcome of this, because we're going to have to rise above a lot of stuff that's going on in order to move forward, in order to make real change and real progress happen. And I hope we do that. But thanks for watching this, and thanks for helping me experiment with this little show I'm trying to flirt with the idea of creating, that centers around my beliefs and the truth and what's going on in the world and what we do to fight it, you know. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for hanging out. And if you shared it, thank you very much. Please subscribe to the channel if you aren't already a subscriber. I'm trying to grow and get to 1,000 subscribers. We do this professionally. I am professionally live streaming now, and like I said, since I started, I've been banned on 2 different platforms. So I need help with sharing and getting the message out as much as you can, as much as you're comfortable doing. Share it out if you like it, if you dig it, if you like what I'm doing, and support it if you want. I'd really appreciate that. Like I said, I have a Patreon, and what that is a crowdfunding site that allows people that like stuff like this, independent shows, the ability to support them with a monthly subscription. And you can do any amount, or I have a PayPal. You can do a one-shot little high five, I call it. So those are, because I'm always going to put everything out for free. All these shows that I do, I'm always going to put them out for free as long as I can put them out. I'm being banned everywhere, so as long as I can put them out, I will put them out for free. So, and they'll always be crowdfunded. I don't want to have ads, and not that I ever think I'll get monetized, but I don't want ads anyway. I don't want to have advertisers that I have to answer to, and topics and subjects that I'm not allowed to talk about because of those advertisers. I don't want anybody to be my boss but you guys. I want to be held accountable by you guys also. And I want to hear what you want to see. So if you're a subscriber of the channel already, let me know things you'd like to see or topics you'd like to see covered, and we'll get into it. I'm here to please you. You are the boss. These are for you. These shows are for you guys. Otherwise, I'm speaking to myself. Chris says, thank you. You are making sense to me. You're welcome. I'm glad I'm making a little sense, because this was a little all over the place. I'll try to focus it more in the future and give us topics and themes, etc. Like a real show, like put my big boy pants on and actually put on a show for you guys. I'm glad you dug it. I'm glad that this worked out. I'm glad to see that I didn't run anybody off. Uh, like I said, I never was very vocal about my beliefs because, you know, I didn't hide them. I mentioned it multiple times, but I never spent a lot of time talking about it. But I do plan on having someone on Conspiracy Theories and Chill coming up in the future if he answers me. I shouldn't even mention it because he hasn't answered my message yet. But to debate me about, not debate, but to present his case that Jesus never existed. I don't believe that's true, but I'll cover anything on Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and somebody asked me to cover that. So I reached out. And if this particular person comes on, I'll allow him to present his views, and maybe it'll be on this so that I can be Christian me and be more on the side of, yeah, he did. You know what I mean? I really do believe in, and it just can't be shaken. But that's me, and I respect you, no matter what. As long as you're about love and about doing the right thing and about moving forward, progress, I'm with you. And you're right there fighting beside me. So thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for letting me do this. And I'll figure it out. I'll name it. I'll give it a time and day, and we'll do it regular. It'll probably be on Saturdays, because Saturday is and should be the Sabbath. A lot of people aren't aware of that, but this Sunday church thing, this having religion on Sunday, is sun worship. It's pagan. That happened a long time ago too, and it's part of the deception that's going on in the world. But the true Sabbath is Saturday, and so it'll probably be a Saturday show, I imagine. I'm glad it worked out. It went well. This was successful for YouTube. You know, this went really good, and we only streamed this one to YouTube. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next episode of this show. I'm not sure when that'll be, but there definitely will be a next episode. Thanks for watching, guys, and subscribe. Click subscribe and click the bell. That way you'll get notified anytime I'm live or upload a new video. Thanks for watching, though, and I'll see you next time from me on Things and Stuff.